I'm Priscilla. I'm doing Pornography Part 2 for Tumblr, and basically I'm just going to be talking about the things that we've done in the... Oh gosh. Yeah, the things that we've done in our previous lessons over the couple of weeks. I'll just say it all in one. So basically we set out the chairs like a carriage, a train, because obviously our play is about the 7/7 bombings in London. So we basically set out the scene so that we could feel like, you know, we were actually on a train and stuff. So we set out all the chairs and then we sat on them, and our group doesn't exactly know all their lines, but some people know some of their lines. And because on this day we were told by our teacher Tristan to learn our lines a week before the day that he'd be filming, but because I'm such a busy person, I didn't really find the time to learn my lines. So in our first, because we have 2 lessons on a Friday, so we have one lesson at 9 and then one lesson at 1:20. So on the 9 o'clock lesson, I told him that I hadn't learnt my line, so he was like, basically learn at least something for the next lesson where I'll be filming. So obviously I took this into account and I learnt my lines. I learnt just a page, which I found, I wouldn't say easy, but I found it quite straightforward, to be honest. So I was actually quite pleased with myself because, to be honest, I never really thought. I think I just overthink when it comes to lines. I just think, oh, lines. 1 second, someone's at the door. Hello, Rizwan. And yeah, basically. So I learnt the lines, and then on our next lesson at 1:20 we was it 1:20? Yeah, we basically had to film what we'd learned, and we had someone sitting in on this lesson, but as a warm-up we basically walked around and what did we do again? Does anyone remember what we did? You see when Chloe, anyone? You see that time? You see last week when we was filming? Do you remember what warm up we did? You see that warm up?
Yeah, we done the. We did the Venga Venga.
Venga Venga.
The one where we were listen.
Okay, so basically, thank you. So basically, we had to do an exercise with Tristan where he would say something and then we would have to do the opposite of a certain action that he said. So if he said hula hula, we would go venga venga, and if he said shh, we'd go listen. And I think that was a sort of way to sort of, I don't know, some form of a response technique, listening thing. But yeah, this warmed us up pretty nicely. And yeah, so then we finally, you know, got to business, and we basically sat down in our chairs. Well, some of us sat down in the chairs, and we had John using the piano for a train sort of soundtrack sort of thing, which made it feel as though we were actually on a train, which I thought was really good. It made it more realistic, made it feel like, you know, real. And yeah, so then obviously my character's an old woman, so I got on the train and I feel like I definitely took on the character of an old woman by the way I was walking, by the way I was, just my whole general character movements. Like, I'm the sort of old woman that's like, because you do get them old women that are just like, bleh. And I was sort of like one of those ones. So like whenever someone new would come on the train, I'd just look at them like I was just like one of them snooty old women, and like, yeah, I feel like I really did take on the character like quite well, to be honest, because obviously everyone's doing their own lines and saying their own things, and then obviously when it got to my own part, yeah, I found it quite good. Because yeah, I found it good because I knew like my lines, or for that first page, and I felt like I really took on the character because I changed my accent and I changed my mannerisms, and to be honest, when you're acting, that's what you should really do. You can't really act as yourself because then you're not really acting. And so I really did that. I did that. So basically, everyone sort of did their own characters and did their own lines, and yeah, it was a good exercise. I just think that our group all need to just learn their lines so that we can sort of have it on point. And I feel like I also need to learn my lines, to be honest. I'm sort of falling behind, but I know that obviously when it comes to, you know, I will know all my lines, and I feel like I'll definitely perform the character really well. And I've already planned sort of like how I'm going to dress, because I've got a really long skirt, which is quite granny-ish, and I've got some granny glasses. I'll show you. Oh my gosh. Sorry about this, folks. Okay, here we go. These are my granny glasses, and I feel like having, you know, these glasses and obviously the outfit and everything is really going to help me get into character, because costume is very important. Like, it always helps. And yeah, so last lesson was good. It was good. And I'm not sure what's going to happen this lesson. It's probably more rehearsal, obviously, because the show's in like 2 weeks. But yeah, it was a good lesson. I feel like we did get a step further with the whole rehearsal and sort of getting into character and stuff like that. I just think it's a matter of learning lines and just learning lines, really, because our group can definitely pull it off for me, where we are talented individually. But thank you for listening to my vlog, and have a lovely day. Goodbye.